got this form picture and the request via email. Kamala Harris. Let's see what's up with her. So the first lady vice president, a very powerful woman. This is reflected on her poem. October 20, a Libra, and even the poem shows that number two, showing that like number two is represented by the moon. So there's a lot of lunar influence as well. These people are not materialistic, and that is what is like very prominent on her poem. That what she is like on the outside is basically what she is on the inside. She has nothing to hide. Very good fingers, and let's get into it. Now, first of all, I was like checking when she got married, and that was around 2014. If we see her age at 2014, it would be 50. So if we, yeah, so I was like surprised, what was this line doing here? This white line. It's coming from the Mount to Moon. This typically represents a relationship or a very important relationship, not necessarily marriage, as we know this person is from the Western world. So I was reading here that the Speaker of the California Assembly, Willie Brown, who was then dating Harris, appointed her to the State Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board. And due to this relationship, which I don't know how long it lasted, but I think it lasted at least 4 years, 1994 to 1998. We see when is this line entering? It's entering at 30. It's literally entering the fate line at 30. 1994, she was born in 1964, so 74, 84, 94. She was 30 years old. So you see that palmistry has an effect on the past life, and that this line, as whenever I do client readings or compatibility readings, I always mention that more than the attachment line or the marriage line, which is not exactly that line, maybe I'll make a video on it later. But the thing is that this is the most important, most accurate assessment of a person's relationship. If a line from the Mount to Moon comes and joins the fate line, this is the most. Like I've seen it hundreds of times. I would say it's 99% accurate that if this line at one time joins the fate line, and if the palmist knows the age, like I can see it's at in the late 20s or early 30s, then the relationship will happen. I would say a likelihood of 99%. And that's why in relationship palmistry is very easy. I don't know where I read it. I don't remember where I read it, but I read that in all aspects of life, the relationships are the most easiest to assess, analyze, predict. So in a way, you can see that this person not only, and yeah, if it comes from the Mount to Moon, and one more, what you say, if you say an advantage is that suppose it's a foreign marriage, like suppose you're Pakistani and you get married to an American, or you have a relationship with an American, and that person, you both are in love, because this line always shows true love. So what happens is that you get advantages from that person. It can also go the other way around. The other person is getting advantages from you because she has finally found true love. So these things tend to happen when the moon line enters the fate line. These things tend to happen, and it's an accurate assessment of the relationship. Now we also see that there are many lines here. We see there's a line early on here, maybe that's at 18, then early on these lines. So this just shows the foreign influence, or that the families moved around a lot. Not necessarily that they went country to country, but that they moved houses a lot. And there's a lot of international influence. Her nationality is American, her mother is Indian descent, her father is African descent. So you see that there's a lot of multiculturalism in her personality already. Another thing which this shows, these many lines also on the hand of Rajni Shosho, shows favors from more influential people, from rich people. So gifts, like a person receiving a gift from out of nowhere, and these things. So influences from other people, gifts from other people, monetary benefits from other people, and sudden monetary benefits from people, like not that they like winning a lottery or something, but from people themselves. So this also gives success in the political world. Even though her fate line, I would say, itself is not that good for politics, because it's coming from inside the lifeline. So this shows that there was a bit of a strict upbringing. Like I won't say both parents were strict, but at least one of them was very strict, because both are professors, or I know they one of them, the mother is a professor, but anyhow both are very educated, her parents. So I do see the family influence as well, but this does show a very disciplined upbringing. So the person, what do you say, when they grow up, they want to not be that sheltered or overprotected, I would say, or disciplined. So that's why when the lines start coming from Mount to Moon, I say it is very positive thing. But that this fate line itself is not that good for politics, because the person, they feel caved in, they feel like they're forced to walk a path. So this fate line is not ideal. But like what you say, that it's not like I would say it's not ideal for politics, but for many other fields. Again, this type of fate line also shows late success. Late in the way I would say in when the person gets into their 30s, they start having success because they leave that environment, the home environment, which is very strict, and that at least one of the parents, I know personally, a friend of mine, he also faced this, but now it's very good that he's in his 30s and he's doing what he always wanted to do. So that tends to happen. It's not that the parents stop supporting; it's just that they have some control issues over the child. Now we see the Venus mount. We see the mounts Venus, Upper Mars, and Saturn. These are the three most developed mounts. And sorry, Mount of Moon fourth. Now, if we see Venus, it's very developed, but it's like a bit constricted by the lower Mars. This means that the person is very romantic, but they will prefer ambition over romance, and they would also, as I read before, that she was dating Willie Brown. So in a way that because Venus Mount gives attractiveness, she is an attractive woman. So the other person would be like maybe she won't even ask for a favor or anything, but the other person would be inclined to help her. That is a part of her charm. And Venus Mount is always good for politics, always good for the outer splendor, glamour, extravaganza, everything like that. So it's no surprise she has a developed Venus mount, and it also means that she's very loving and caring, but she will analyze everything before she gets into a relationship. But she does trust her heart. I would say she trusts both her heart and her head, but sometimes more her heart. But still, due to the experiences, etc., she's now in her 50s. So that means that she has learned to balance everything, and balance is very important for her. Remember, she's a Libra. Balance is everything. We also see the moon mount is okay, not that much developed. So our imagination is good, but not like a high level. Upper Mars is very developed, especially compared to lower Mars. So upper Mars means resilience, and like a person born into the climate of the ever-changing America. When she was growing up, it would be the 80s, and she comes from parents who were in like participating in the civil rights movement. They met in the civil rights movement. So you see that she comes from a struggle, and that is shown from her hand that she has been born resilient. And this is maybe it could have been the parents would have been don't go into politics or that and that. So she was able to resist. So upper Mars is very good along with Venus development, which makes a person resilient, but not like what you say uncaring. And also it complements the fate line, which is coming from the under the lifeline, because what happens is when it's under the lifeline, the parents, the home environment, they will try to make you think like them, make you act like them in the early ages, formative years. But the upper Mars stops that from happening. And then we see that the Saturn is also very good. Not surprising. Look at her career. Her career has always been on a straight slope. So people who have a career on a straight slope, doctors, lawyers, engineers, even people in government, like she has a government job right from the beginning. So this means that the life is going on a straight slope, and there will most likely not be any serious allegations against you, scandals against you, or lawsuits against you. The life is going very, very straightforward. You can see the strength of the fate line. It's going very, very straightforward. So a straightforward career. We also see Jupiter is a good mount. But what is very good about this mount is that she has sympathy lines. So these sympathy lines means she can easily sympathize with people. She's always fighting for the underdogs, helping the homeless, helping the needy, helping the hungry. These things not only benefit her career-wise, but she genuinely cares about people. And this is why we see the upper Mars-Venus combination, because these people are humanitarians by nature. We also see that the heartline, which is very strong, even stronger than the headline, and I will get to the headline a bit later. We see that the heartline is upward swerving, and it's starting from between these two mounts, which is a very perfect area to start with: balance, romance, and career. But she chose career because her Venus and Moon are limited. So she doesn't have any children of her own, and she got into the relationship late, like what do you say, in her mid 40s, I think. No, wait, she was no, she was 40. Sorry, when she got married. So what you see here is that the this line. Okay, now we see that. Oh wait, let me just see when she got married. I think I'm contradicting myself. That she, oh sorry, she was 50 when she got married. Never mind. So anyways, let's see that this heartline. Now the heartline is upward swerving, showing that she's romantic. Again, the Venus mount is also there. So I'm a bit surprised if she doesn't have children of her own, or she does. I should have maybe read about that. If anyone can clear me on the comments. So usually people like this do have at least 2 children with the Venus mount Mars combination. But this heartline and along with the fingers, right? This is where the negative things come out. She is very idealistic, and this is what is not leading to long-term success. She can be weak in some areas. She can like people who are idealistic. They are like things should not be the way they are. They should be the way I think they am. So they start looking for ideal situations, and this is why also some people they get late success with the idealistic hard lines, because they're always waiting for the ideal moment, and it never happens. So this with the pointed fingers, it enhances idealism, but with age, with grace, it lessens. So again, the negative things are lessening, but this could be also a factor which impacts her if she's going on, like if she starts to contend for the presidency. These things can factor in when she starts talking, when she starts debating, when if in case she runs for the presidency. So that might happen. And also we will also see that she, in the good sense, that she is bettering herself right now, because the headline, it's becoming lighter through after I would say into the 40s. That's why most probably she got married at 50. And we also see that the lifeline. So these two, I'll get to the lifeline a bit later. The headline becoming lighter, a good. Before that, it was very dark. The lifeline and the headline both, and they are together. So this shows a very sheltered upbringing. So when it becomes lighter, this means that the person has become light, meaning that this person is not taking life too seriously. Their Saturnian influence is less. And now we go to the lifeline. Now people will be like, the lifeline is ending at 50. So why is she alive? So the lifeline does not show the length of life. It shows the style of life, the quality of life. So here we see when it ends at 50, we have to remember a very good point. What happened is that she got married. So that means when the lifeline is very strong, because the lifeline and headline are very strong, very dark. So this means the person is overworking. When it is light or almost like disappears like this means the person is working for things not related to money. Even the fade line I've drew here, but it's very light going into the 40s. So in the 40s, she started to be like, there are more things to life than money, career, etc., ambition, climbing the corporate ladder, etc. So here we see that there is also one more thing I read very long ago. I don't remember the book exactly, but when the lifeline ends there, I think it's also mentioned in my book, which you can see in the description. I published a book recently. So when the lifeline ends like this, the latter part of life, like this is if we count 50 plus. So from 50 onwards, the part of life is like the person concentrates on other parts. This could be raising a family, this could be getting married. So for her, it's both, because she has adopted children or stepchildren. So in this sense, we see that she has become very light. So what is, if she wants to become successful, she has to maintain this light lifestyle, not come across as imposing or too idealistic, and she just has to go on like this, so that the lifeline doesn't return and become dark. That means that her her the blood flow is constricted, the positive energies are constricted. This will happen. So right now she has learned. She is not the same woman she was in her 20s, 30s, or 40s. She is now in her mid 50s, and she has learned a lot. And as long as she keeps her carefree, now she is carefree. Before that, she was very serious. As long as she keeps her carefree persona, she will maintain the success. We also see the upper Mars sun line entering here and supporting this sun line. So this means when the upper Mars line comes, this means that there will be stupendous success in the 40s. But it will be preceded by struggle. Of course, she is multiracial, so there was a unique type of struggle for her. So again, I've seen this in the hands of many authors who they're struggling to get a novel. Even if they get novels published, they're struggling to become famous. But in 40s, either their past novels get published, or their very first novel gets published, and the success is sky high for them. Many army people also have it, because they also struggle, and Mars is the domain of army, politics, police, etc. But also for writers itself. I'm just giving an example because I know some people in person who had this success, the author related success. So this just supports this line. And of course, in her 40s, she became more successful. And we also see a triangle here. Now the triangle on Apollo, especially if it's merged with the sun line, it means that the person is very diplomatic, and they get favors. They literally win fame, because sunline is the line of fame, through their diplomatic skills. And where are the diplomatic skills shown? By the thumb. We see that the thumb, the second phalange, is waist shaped. So this means that the person has that gift of the gap. They are very good in talking, and with the Venus and the clear hand, you see that minor lines are very less there. This means the clarity of purpose. The other person can trust this person, even if this person doesn't intend for getting the favors, etc. People want to help them. We also see that this Apollo finger is longer than Jupiter, making her a risk-taking person, but the person who has concentrated risk, and that the Jupiter finger and the little finger are a bit low set. So this means a bit of self-esteem issues when she was growing up, but she combated them. And again, of course, there were self-esteem issues because of the overprotection of the parents and strict environment. But as we see, everything past 40 is good. We see that the headline is good, the upper bars sunline is good, so everything past 40, yeah, and also the of course the lifeline past 50, everything is going good for her. There was a chance of a very serious relationship in her 30s with, I think, the Willie Brown guy, and that could have cemented in marriage and many children. I'm actually surprised she does not have children of her own, but again, people having stepchildren, adopted children, they, it's the same thing because there's love there. And also lastly, we see that the second phalanges, which stand for business acumen, are there, and the third phalanges, which stand for energy, which also shows because she's very physically fit for her age. So these both are developed. The first phalanges are not developed, which, and again the headline is not that long. So this means that she is not a super intellectual at heart. If she studies, if she gets a higher degree, that's only to further her political ambition. So overall, a good hand, but she will have to be less idealistic and maintain this lifestyle so that the lifeline does not return in a darkened form. If it returns in the light form, that's fine. But if it returns in a darkened form, so she's becoming too serious, and that won't complement her at all. Thank you so much for whoever sent me this hand, and thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you have a nice day ahead.